Hey there, welcome back guys. Second part of the video from the DJI Avata crash, doing the care refresh. Apparently care refresh is amazing. It took 2 days for the drone to get here, actually. Really impressive. I'm not sure if the last one came that fast, but this one came really fast. So the UPS, apparently no signature was needed. They left it at the door. Of course, you know, they left it at the door, but that's fine because we've got cameras everywhere. So we would see if there were Amazon bandits. But on that note, so here it is. Really nice. Came in a Uline box. Strange packaging though. There's no UPS code, which is really interesting. But on that note, without any further ado, let's get started. Let's see what's actually inside the Care Refresh replacement that took 2 days. All right, so we have here everything. So this is what I was talking about, the packaging. It just has the address and some string. Oh, everything is here on this side. Got it. All right. All right, so let's check it out. See what we have. So what you could do is when they send you the information with the serial number on it, you could register it with the FAA so that, you know, all you can just do is bind and fly. But in this case, there's a little bit more I'll have to do, which is really nice. Oh, look, works with iMovie and Final Cut Pro X. iMovie is great because iMovie is free. That must be new because I didn't see that on my last box. Some codes there, and really nice. It's really light. This is just the Avata version. That's green light. We're good to go. We'll just get rid of the box and use our cutter so we can see what's inside. Hopefully it's not newspapers, right? I doubt it. DJI wouldn't do that to us. I remember there were some stickers here that come off. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, wow, it's shrink wrapped. Little code there. You can scan it to watch the tutorial. And wow, never open. Oh, so it's a good thing I kept the propellers. They don't throw in, they don't comp you anything. This is just strictly the Avata. So if you do your care refresh, make sure you take, hopefully there are propellers on it. Yeah, there are. Wow, nice. Look at that. So that's all you get. This is a simple Avata replacement. No accessories, no charger, because they assume you already have that. But the good thing, they throw in the gimbal protector. I think I had sent that back with it anyway. Nice. So that's it. You just have the Avata DJI O3 Air unit. We have that there. We'll have to put some of the accessories back on. This one, yeah, we'll need the key for that. And the key for that. To undo that so that we can put the prop guards on. We'll include that in the other part of the video. And look at that. Really nice. I'll just do, for those of you who haven't seen it, really nice. Sleek, clean, never crashed, brand new. So this is the whole purpose of getting Care Refresh, so that you can pick up where you left off. And as you can see, there was only a 2-day downtime. I probably wouldn't have this until Monday if I had shipped it the next day, if I had missed that window of opportunity with UPS, because they closed, I think, around 6 o'clock. But really nice. Look at that. All right, let's set this baby up. Okay, so let's get started. We won't need the box cutter for this. What we need is the Avata. So we want to pick up where we left off. I always save the box. Usually I'm not a box keeper, but in cases of needing to ship it back and return it, it comes in handy. I'll just leave that there, or maybe there. So it's part of the experience. All right, so since it did fall in the creek, as you can see, it's dirty. It has remnants of the creek in there. So that's why I have the Q-tips, right? Just to get the, as you can see, the crap out from the river, even though it was a nice river. Beautiful. The water was clean, but you know, you always have remnants of crap from the river. So if the stuff is stuck on, you use a Q-tip or an airbrush. I had this for a while, but airbrush isn't working since the stuff is somewhat caked on, right? So we just scrub it out. I mean, not scrub it out, but Q-tip it out. I think I don't want this on my new drone. There's one. You probably need one, depending on how much damage is done. You know, how long. This wasn't even in the creek for very long either, which is kind of wild. So you might need 1 or 2 Q-tips, you know, just to bring things up to speed. And these bumper guards are great. Oh, there's one more thing I have to put on, which I'll probably get later. It's downstairs, the gimbal protector. So first what you want to do is put these on. There's no rhyme or reason because they all go on the same way. It's just a matter of, you know, hope you pray that they fit, because I've heard rumors where they haven't fit for some people. So you see, you put it like that, and then you do that, and then you just squeeze this in, see, from the top. Make sure the middle is in first, and then after the middle is on, that one will go on, see that? And then that one will go on. And you want to make sure, remember, if you didn't see the last video, turn the propellers a little bit to make sure that they're not skimming, you know, because if they are, you could always use a box cutter and shave it off a tad. Not a tad, just a tad, right? And again, check the propellers, because, you know, they can break mid-flight if they hit the plastic. But in this case, this one's good. And if it's not, before you actually think about cutting it, swap them. Like flip this over maybe if it's on that side better. Because as you can tell, even though this is a new drone, not everything is perfect and symmetrical. But if you look over here, there's like a little nick right in there. I don't know if you can see it. Small, but big enough to be seen. But it's fine. It'll live. But just to let you know that, you know, you may not see little nicks in there, but maybe something is off balance, and you just swap it before you actually, you know, splice it just a tad so that it doesn't nick your propellers. But they did these so well that you don't have to, which was great and really impressive on their end. So then the same thing here, push the middle in first, and then it'll go in a little. As you can see, it doesn't go in all the way until all ends are, you know, rounded, until all ends are around the surface, and then it clicks in, and you just go from underneath, see that? And then you don't check everything until after, see? And now that's the side, right? And then we just spin it a little bit, slowly though, just to make sure it doesn't touch. This one, maybe a hair, so we just move that a little bit like that. And voila. Yep, that one's fine now. This one, so you see that one threw that one off because it wasn't even. So what we do is we just bring it in, and then we do it right here. Make sure it's not nicking. It'll be like a hairline fracture nick, but that's fine. So you see, it should look like that when you're done. All right, so now the next part, which are the it's like a gimbal protector, gimbal guard. It only goes on one side, but what you have to do is, see, this won't fit. This is actually that side, okay? But again, you have to find the right screw to go in there, screw head. So I have that here. I just don't remember which one it is. I believe it's something 7, maybe a T7. I'm not sure, but I will double check. And in this case, sometimes you don't have to put the screwdriver handle on. Sometimes you can just, oh nice, might be a T7. If not, I have another screwdriver set. So in this case, it looks like it's the T7. Put it in. And now, pray it turns when you put it in. Nice. Sort of. Yeah, it's working. Remember, it's got thread locker on it. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. And you might, oops, the screw fell, which is right here. See, it's got thread locker on it, which is great, which is what you want. So we're going to put that here in the white so we can see it, because we're going to put them in the bag. Because as you can see, or may have already seen and saw that I used them again when I sent this back to DJI, because you're not getting it back. So you have to take everything off and put it back to stock. I believe this is a magnetic screwdriver. Yep. So you see, it's got, you see a thread locker on it. Let's zoom in a little close, right about there. So again, putting it there where we can find it, because we have our 2 screws in the bag. Keep the bag for whichever kit you buy for your gimbal protector, gimbal guard, or bumper guard, because again, you may have to take everything off again. So on that note, in this case, I'm only need 2 screws, right? And this one comes with a little screwdriver, which is great. So I'm going to put the Avata screws in here, so that, who knows, hopefully not. Hopefully I'll never need this again. Alright, so then there's that. And now, I don't think I'm going to use thread locker. I'm just going to put it on, because they're really hard to take off. As you can see, it won't go, because it has to go on the other side, on this side, to match the, and you want to make sure that the 03 air unit doesn't move, because you want the screws to thread right in. So with this is tricky, because you have to put this part in first, into the hole, into the bumper, and then sort of push it in, without damaging anything. See, this is why you don't really need the thread locker, because this thing is really in there, like so tightly in there. But you can, it's preference. For me, I'm not, because I know that this thing holds, and you want to be able to take this off. If you have a caliper, digital caliper, you could always measure it, or reach out to the manufacturer and say, hey, what kind of screw is that again? And that's pretty tight. It's not coming off. Make it a little bit tighter. Yep, there we go. See, so that's on, almost there. And the same thing with this. Remember, first you put the front end piece in first. Make sure the holes are lined up, because if they're not, you could just take a screwdriver and adjust it to make sure that the screw hole is visible, so that when you pop this in, everything will just flow. And you see that this is the tricky part. And these things are great because they actually do protect the drone. They protected the drone. I've crashed the Avata a couple of times. I haven't had to use Care Refresh, but it crashed once before. And thanks to these, the red gimbal guards, it's just phenomenal. Kept everything in one piece. And then again, wait for it. See, clipped in. Everything's there at the bottom, because we put that in first, and then we take our screw. And we screw it in. Wow, this one went in a lot. This one threaded more. It's fine now. Turn it just so it's not too tight where you can't get it off, but just tight enough it'll just tighten. So that's it. So that's this part of the video, this section. We got everything almost up and running. You have to register the drone with the FAA, or whichever country you're in that requires you to register with the BBA or the boogeyman, whoever it is that is responsible for. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. That one wasn't really tight. I had 2 full turns left in this one. Okay, so just double check your screws. So we put this back in, and put that away, put this away for another rainy day. Hopefully not. Hopefully I could use this on some other project other than Care Refresh. But it's great that Care Refresh actually works. So on that note, I'm just going to put this back on, right? So you'll have your serial number for your drone that was replaced. You can copy it and paste it. It'll be inside your email that came from DJI with the shipping information, which is great, because when you go to the FAA website, or some you might call it the boogeyman's website, you'll just use that to register, and it's only $5 per drone, or in this case $10, because this is the second drone, but it's worth it. And then of course I'll have to get another sticker to put on here, and I'll leave a link to that. You get those stickers for free from the Drone Pilot Institute. So now that we've got everything set up, ready to go, didn't really need that because everything was caked on. Yeah, let's register this thing and bind it and see how it flies. Okay, before you're ready to go, you just want to double check everything. As you can see, I forgot something. I forgot to put the UV filter on. If you don't, this is preference. I actually keep the UV filter on because it protects the lens. So if you do crash, the one thing that'll break is the UV filter. But as you can see, I actually have to put in the memory card because I want to get some footage from this flight to see, make sure everything's working between the Rocksteady and the flight and FCC hack, etc. So this is a tricky part, getting the memory card in there. So what you want to do is you could use a tool, but once it's in, and you want to get it back out, like in this case, the memory card's already in there. I'm just going to show you how to pull it out. Just use a little tweezers, if you have a tweezers, and you just pull it, and once it falls out, you just let it drop. And again, the hardest part is getting it back in. Once it's in, at least hopefully. I wish there was a way to get the footage from the drone, because the footage you want is on the drone. Without the hassle, you can just put in a 90-degree USB-C cable, and then that'll do the trick. And then you just use a tool to push it back in, and then once it pops in, of course, some of you that know or don't know, the door is really tricky to put back on, but you always want to make sure it's on. And now the next step, you have your UV filter, and it snaps right in. But once it snaps in, you want to make sure, right, that it holds. So you just move it a little bit, and you see it's on there, and the little nudgy parts just go in where it's supposed to. So you can see that's on there, because the last thing you want is for it to crash and then fall off. And that happens a lot with the Pavo Pico. And then you just brush it off a little bit, because you don't want those little specks on your footage, right? You just want clean footage. And then if there's something there, you just use a little brush. You can just blow it, and then that'll get everything off as needed. And then you just double check, put it in the light. Because again, you don't want these specks on there, on your footage, whether it's for professional use or even personal for fun. And just make sure everything is good to go, and you put your gimbal protector back on. Always, keep it on. It just protects it in case you ever drop it. No, hopefully you don't. And just remember to take it off. Usually it'll tell you if you left it on. And just follow the prompts to do what you need to do. Or you'll know. You're like, wait, what's wrong with my footage? Why is it so blurry? And that's it. All right, you're going to want to make sure everything is on. For the first flight, you're going to have to, of course, turn on the goggles. Make sure the battery is fully charged. In this case, I got 3 bars instead of 4. That should do the trick. Turn on the Avata. And of course, we're not going to be able to fly just yet, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a software update, which is a bummer. But because remember, this has been sitting in a box for as long as we can remember. Actually, I don't remember, because I wasn't there when they boxed it. And then this will connect there. So now we have that on, and of course the remote. And most likely we're going to click connect. And when we click connect, DJI Avata. If it doesn't bind automatically, you just do the binding process. Just wait for it. Good sign. Remove the gimbal protector. Okay, takes care of that. Put this in the case. There's a little pocket for it in the case. Actually, oh wow, I've got 2. Looks like I didn't return the old gimbal case, so now I have an extra gimbal protector, in case I ever lose one. All right, so unable to sync to aircraft, so we're going to click here. We're going to hold down the power button until it starts to beep. Wait for it. 1, 2, 3. See, it beeped, and then you just click pair. It's going beep, 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 beep. It's looking for it, and it bound. Now I have to do that with the receiver. I'm going to do motion controller 2. Select it, as you can see, and then I have to do the same thing again here. Hold it down. Hold the power button until it beeps. See? and wait for it. It's looking for it. Might have to do the same thing with the goggles. Where's my drone? Might have to do the whole beeping thing again. So what you do is you just move it away. Sometimes that helps. And then do this. And let it try and find it. See? It found it. So it bound. So now it's asking me to activate. You have to activate it because it's bound to your account. It will be bound to this account. And this is great because I'm connected to the phone, which has 3G or 4G, and it'll automatically, hopefully, connect to Wi-Fi. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, you do it through your iPad that way. It's restarting device. I know that sound. And so hopefully the goggles will sync. You might have to do the same thing with the goggles. Of course, device is restarting, which is why we have nothing. Nice. There we go. Click OK. Successfully activated. You see? There's a firmware update. FlySafe requires an update. It's fine. The only downside is when you press that update button, you want to make sure that you're connected to the Wi-Fi. What do you know? We got another beep. It says updating FlySafe data. As you can see, I was flying safe before the drone crashed. Somehow, this is pretty fast, 44%. I must be connected to the Wi-Fi. And of course, I'm going to skip through this so that you guys can, you don't have to sit through the whole update. Nice, at 100%. And now everything is updated. To make sure everything is updated, what you want to do is go into Profile and then Device Management. Actually not there, but you want to go into, you can click More, but that'll give you that, right? So go into Settings, check for firmware updates, checking version. Hopefully nothing needs to be downloaded. Nope. Okay. And of course the FlySafe already updated, checking version. We can clear the cache if you want, but we're not going to do that. We'll just leave everything as is. We don't want to let it sit for too long, because if it does, then it's going to overheat and then shut off, and then you won't be able to see. Everything's up to date, which is great. All right, just double checking, because when you have your Part 107, you have to fly with the latest firmware. Okay, so that takes care of that. And of course, this can only be done from the goggles, right? All right. And then voila. So we are in normal mode, 94%, 7 MPS, the FCC hack. Let's check the FCC hack and see if it actually took and pushed. So what you do is, I'm going to record. Okay. Okay, so everything is fine with the FCC hack. Looks like it transferred over. Because most likely it's from the goggles, right? All right, so now the good thing about the goggles Integra and motion controller too is that you don't have to be connected, right? This is great for the kids though, when you're teaching them how to fly. So you can quit that. And I tend to leave my phone in my pocket and on silent, because interference causes problems. Like the lawnmower in the background. So everything is bound. Green light, good to go. Green, good to go. And green, good to go. Can disconnect that. Right. Put these back away, and let's see how this baby flies.
There's not enough hours in a day. Got no time to throw away. When all I wanna do is spend my days just getting to know you. The pressure, it always seems to grow, and every day is a little more. When all I hope is true, say you love me and I love you. I always find you on my mind, but you turn away like half the time. I didn't take you for the side type, but if you want, I'll take you out tonight, and we will make this alright. Cause it's so simple when I'm with you. Cause I know you want me, baby, and I know I want you to. Cause it's so simple, like the honest truth. It's like it's time left, baby. We can spend a day or two and fall in love. Ask me when the moon lights up your face. Baby, you can never be replaced. Cause now you've lit a spark. You've pulled my life right out of the dark. Cause everybody's basking in your glow, but I was never in this for the show. Is this really true? Do you love me? Cause I love you. I always find you on my mind, but you turn away like half the time. I didn't take you for the side type, but if you want, I'll take you out tonight, and we will make this alright. Cause it's so simple when I'm with you. Cause I know you want me, baby, and I know I want you to. Cause it's so simple, like the honest truth. It's like the time left, baby. We can spend a day or two and fall in love, and fall in love. Yeah, I'll be everything.
I have to say, I was really impressed with the way the Avata was flying around the property. It was really steady compared to the last Avata. The last Avata was a little bit shaky, unstable, but it still flew really well. Maybe it was the firmware update, because as you saw, I updated the firmware in the beginning. Maybe the firmware just causes it to be a little bit more steady and less shaky, and it hovered. But it doesn't matter how good of a pilot you are, if a bird or animal is going to fly into your drone and cause it to go into the creek, the drone's going to do whatever it's going to do, which is why I recommend you have care refresh. It cost me nothing to replace the drone. I mean, little something because I had to buy the care refresh, but it's better than paying an additional $600 just for the drone, right? So, it works really well. I recommend it. It was down for 2 days, which was great. Not really much downtime. If you're going to be working a gig, I'd recommend having 2 drones, or just, delaying things with the client and tell them, hey, I'll do it tomorrow. Whatever works best, depending on the relationship that you have. Most likely they won't mind. It'll just throw you off schedule. But on that note, again, I can't express care refresh works. Thank you, DJI. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. And remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you all next time.